Hello all, welcome back to my channel. This is Future B here with another video, and in this video I'm going to be doing a simple set of nails. I'm just going to be laying down a nude pink color. This is Mia's Secrets Cover Rose. It has it's Cover Pink. It has this shimmer in it. It's really pretty, but I'm just going to be laying this acrylic, and while I'm laying this acrylic, I'm going to be going over how to lay acrylic in 7 easy steps. Yes, how to lay acrylic in 7 easy steps. So in this video, I'm not going to go over some of the most basic things like you got to have acrylic, you got to have monomer, you have to have a brush, you need paper towels. We're not going to be going over that. But these are going to be the 7 steps to laying acrylic. These are the 7 things that I think really help me when it comes to laying my acrylic on my nails. So the first step is learning what a liquid to powder ratio really is. So whenever I first began doing my nails, I would hear other nail people always talking about liquid to powder ratio. Well, here's the truth. The liquid to powder ratio is very important, but it's not always the same. So you can practice your liquid to powder ratio, but there are factors that will change what ratio is necessary. For example, if you have an acrylic or monomer that is slow setting, then you want less liquid in your brush. Why is that? Because it's going to make it set even slower, right? If you have a fast setting monomer, then you're going to want to have a little bit more liquid in your brush, because that's going to help you. It's going to give you a little bit more time to work with the bead. Also, your bead size is going to determine your liquid to powder ratio. If you want your bead to be a bigger bead, you want more liquid in your brush. If you're working with a larger brush, you want to be extra careful about how much liquid you have within your brush. As you see me doing this set of nails, there was actually a lot of liquid in my dampen dish, and as I was rubbing my brush into it, I was picking up a lot of liquid, and so my beads were coming out runnier than I wanted. I still knew how to work with them because, I worked with this brush before, but because of how much liquid was in my brush, my beads were coming out runnier. You want the bead to be liquid all the way through, but whenever you place it on the nail, you don't want it to go everywhere, so you have to pay attention to the liquid to powder ratio. My tip for getting better at this is getting to know your brush. That's really a key. Get to know your brush so you know how much liquid is needed within your brush to get the liquid to powder ratio that you're going for. Obviously, when you're doing 3D art, you want a bead that is drier, so you're either going to let the bead dry out more, or you're going to go in with a smaller bead, which means that you're going to have less liquid in your brush. Make sense? All right. Step 2, if you're a beginner, do not attempt to go in with just one bead, thinking that you're going to use just one bead to do your entire nail. I've seen a few videos on the internet where individuals are like, one bead method, here's how to do it, this is why you should do it. And I think if you're a beginner, don't start with the one bead method. It's really just too much acrylic, and you're going to end up wasting product by trying to go in with an extra large bead, working it all the way down the nail. It's dripping, and then the nail isn't even at the proper thickness. Don't go in with one bead. When you're first starting, start with a 3 bead or 4 bead method, and then as you get better, you can probably work your way back down to 1 bead. Step 3, whenever you're going in to apply a bead of acrylic, do not brush the acrylic too hard. You don't want to brush the acrylic off the nail. For the most part, I don't think I waste a whole lot of product whenever I'm doing my nails. I kind of work on that, and I think that a key in not overusing product is not brushing too hard. I brush really lightly. I don't know if it always comes across that way on camera because I do speed up videos, but in general, don't brush too hard. Brush extremely softly, and don't be afraid about taking an extra long time while you're doing your nails. That is step 4. Because if you're trying to do your nails quickly, you're probably brushing hard. So don't brush too hard, step 3. And step 4 is don't be afraid to take your time. Step 5, don't be afraid to over apply your acrylic. Obviously, you don't want to apply way too much product, but you have to know that after you apply your acrylic, you're going to go in and file it. So you want to slightly over apply so that you have something to file off, because if you only apply just what you need, you're not going to have anything that can be filed off. And while that may sound like a good thing, you're always going to need to file, because you want to make sure that the nails are absolutely smooth, right? And it's not just buffing that makes them smooth. You can have lumps and bumps in how the acrylic dries on the nail. You want to make sure that you have something to drill off, so slightly over apply. Now, that doesn't mean that you want to purposely flood your own cuticles. Like, don't do that. But if your nails are just a little bit thicker than what you would like for them to be after you're done, you're doing good if that's how they are, okay? Don't worry if you over apply, because you know that you can always file a little bit more to get them back where they need to be. All right, step 6, wipe, wipe, wipe. Wipe your brush, wipe your nails, wipe your brush, wipe your nails. Just wipe, wipe, wipe. When people say get to know your brush, they definitely mean, how much liquid you need to have in your brush to do what you're trying to do. But also, it's getting to know when you need to wipe your brush. Obviously, you want to wipe your brush often, because you never want to get acrylic stuck in your brush. But it's really, the key is wiping and wiping often. All right, now step 7. Step 7 to me is the most important. So while we know that in general the process to applying acrylic is the same, no matter what, it's really the same. Once you can work with one product, you can probably work with a lot of products. You might have to adjust yourself just slightly, but for the most part, working with acrylic products that are okay products, not ones that are totally horrible. Working with okay products, it's all the same. But it's very important, very, very, very important to remember that whenever you're working with a core color versus working with the rainbow of colors, most colored acrylics, the process is going to be different. Yes. Know that if you practice with core colors and you practice, and then you try doing the exact same thing with a colored acrylic, it's going to be different. I know that sounds totally weird to say, but the reason is because colored acrylics have more pigments in them. They generally have more pigment than acrylic, which means that they could marble in a way that a core color would not. Or it means that whenever you apply them, they might be a little bit more pasty. In other videos, I've talked about how I could go in with applying some clear in another jar and adding some colored acrylic to it, and I could probably have twice as much product. Why? Because that colored acrylic is extra pigmented. It has way too much pigment, and I can add more acrylic in it, and it would work out really, really nicely. Because of this, the acrylics apply differently. Core colors apply, to me, they're really easy to apply. Colored acrylics are going to be a little bit harder to apply, and that is for the reason that I just gave. It's because core acrylics have more acrylic than pigment in them, and colored acrylics have a little bit more pigment in them, so they're a little bit harder to apply. So practice with core colors, but also remember that whenever it is time to work with colored acrylics, it's going to be different. For that reason, whenever you go to file your nails, it's going to be different as well. Don't think it's you. Don't think you're being weird or you completely forgot what you were doing or anything like that. It's just that core colors and colored acrylics are different. This is also one of the reasons why I always like to cap my nails colored acrylics, most of the time when you're buying colored acrylics now, they don't really have to be capped. If you're working with like really good products, then most of the time your colored acrylics don't have to be capped. But I always cap my acrylics, and it's because core acrylics can file differently, they apply differently. But if you go ahead and cap it with like a core color, a clear, or like a soft pink type thing, then you don't have to deal with those differences as much whenever it comes to filing. You can kind of correct certain things. You just work with a very minimal amounts of the colored acrylic, go ahead and cap with the clear, and you'll be making it easier on yourself if you're a beginner like me. If you're, a pro, then you probably already know all of the things that I've said in this video, but I'm looking to help other newbies, other beginners like myself, and I think that knowing that earlier on probably would have helped me a little bit more. As I've said it many times, I don't do clients, and I don't intend to do clients, but I really like doing my own nails, and I think I've gotten kind of good at it. Maybe, kind of, I don't know. But I always want to share the tips and tricks that I've learned with other people, and hopefully we can grow together, right? That's my goal, at least. All right. What tips for laying acrylic do you have? What other tips would you share with others? I would love to know. There might have been some things that I hadn't thought of or hadn't considered or I hadn't been doing that maybe could make this whole thing easier for me. Please let me know down below. And if you'd like to see me complete these nails, I'm going to go in with my nail file one more time, and then I'm going to go in and buff the nails, and I'm going to show you the completed nails before I go in with any type of gel polish, and then that'll be the end of this video. Please subscribe to this channel. Comment down below if you have anything you'd like to say or any critiques that you would like to give me. You can follow me on Instagram at watch_the_progression. I come out with videos at 5:30 p.m. every Monday and Thursday. Again, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. All right, bye-bye.